Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to my live streaming helper bot part 2. In this tutorial, we're going to be going over setting up a Discord bot in order to interact with it, save some stuff to the database, all of that good jazz that we talked about in the previous or in the first tutorial for this series. So today we're going to be setting up a file structure for this bot. We are going to be setting up a brand new Discord server. So that way we can interact and do some testing first before we actually launch it live. We're going to go get some authentication keys and some IDs for all of our channels. And then what we're going to do is we're going to code basically a helper function. So if they do !help, we'll be able to display all of the commands that are available to them. We can welcome new users and assign roles to new users. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so picking up where we left off on our last tutorial, we have activated the Big Brain environment in our Anaconda prompt. We've navigated to the file location where we're going to store all of our project code. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to open up Discord. Okay, so this is obviously a fake account, but I have done this so I could do these tutorials. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new server. And I'm just gonna call it testing bot server. Okay, and it doesn't matter. I don't care about an image or anything like that. I'm gonna tell it like friends, got it, sure, whatever. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we actually want to create an application for our server. So in order to do that, what we need to do is actually navigate to the Discord developer portal here. Okay, basically it says I'm already logged in, but I already have this tab open where I'm not logged in. So all you have to do is log in. I'm going to log in using this QR scanner right quick. That should be it. Awesome. Sign me in. Yes, continue. Okay, and it should bring us here. And this is the correct profile. Awesome. All right, so the first thing we want to do is create a new application. And for this one, we're going to call it Big Brain, because we're making big brain moves. All right, so once you first create your application, basically, you can upload an image if you'd like. You can change the name of it. This is the client ID for the application and some other stuff. I'm not going to really edit this right now just because it takes up a lot of time. So after that, once you create your application, you want to navigate over to this bot tab, and we're going to create a bot user. Basically, when we add this bot user, this will allow us to use this user to interact with all of our commands that we're going to program and all of the users that join, leave, etc. Okay, so once you do that, we can reveal this token, or you can just copy it. We're just going to copy it. Okay, so once we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to Atom. Okay, I'm going to minimize some of this. We're going to head over to Atom. So once I get into Atom, it's basically going to greet me with this. Once I get over into Atom, it's basically going to have an untitled page. And what I want to do is open up a project folder. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to add a project folder. I'm going to navigate to the folder in which we created in the first tutorial, which was Big Brain. All right, so I'm going to select this folder. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new folder to have some separation of concerns for the different bots and integrations that we're going to do for this. So for this tutorial, we're going to do Discord. I'm going to create a new folder called Discord. We're also going to create a new file called bot.py, and it's a Python file. And we will also create one more new file called period or .env. And basically this is where we're going to store our environment variables for all of our keys, all of our IDs, all of the stuff that we don't want other people to use or have access to if we ever upload this to like a GitHub or something like that. So with that being said, we are going to get started putting this thing out. So first thing we need to do is import a couple items. So we're going to import, we're going to say operating system, and we're also going to import Discord. All right. After that, we're also going to need to import a subsidiary package of Discord, which is called discord.ext for extension. So we're going to say from discord.ext, import. And what we're going to import is commands. And this will basically allow us to spin up our commands feature. So what we're programming is the help command, stuff like that. So first off, I've already installed it, but what you want to do is you want to do pip install to install this package to help us load these environment variables, you want to do pip install, and we're going to say python -.env. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter, but it's going to say I've already have it installed. Let's see, requirement already satisfied. Just install it. It's really simple, and then you're ready to go. So then we're going to switch back over to Adam here, and we're going to say from .env, that package we just installed, we're going to import load, a function load.env. Okay, and this is basically going to allow us to, or it's going to search our current directory that we're in for this .env file and load all of those into our environment variables. If you're not sure what environment variables are, just go ahead and do a quick Google search and they'll brief you on everything that you need to know, and it should be fine. Okay, so next what we want to do is we actually want to call that load.env function. So we're going to say load _.env, and then we're going to say parentheses because it's a function. And basically this function is what actually executes the ability to go here into this file and fetch all of those environment variables that we're going to input later. All right. The next thing we need to do is we need to create a variable called token. So what we're going to say is token. All right. And we're going to say it's equal to OS as an operating system dot get env to go get an environment variable, and we're going to say we're going to call the token or the environment variable that we're going to go get. We're going to call it bot_token. All right. So right after that, basically what I want you to do is you can save this if you'd like, but re-navigate back over to our Google Chrome browser that we have open. Let me close. All right. And you're going to go in your bot tab here, and you're basically just going to copy this token here. So I'll just go ahead and click the copy portion, navigate back over to your .env file, and then all we have to do is we're going to say bot_token like we described in the bot.py file, right? Bot token is equal to, and we're just going to paste that key there. All right, and that's pretty much it. So now we have a token available in our Python program, or our bot.py file. All right, so the next thing we need to do is start creating or laying out the foundation for a asynchronous environment or event loop. And basically, this is basically how we're going to scan the channel over and over again, looking for events and commands that the user enters and stuff like that. So what we need to do is actually get that up and running. So to create an event loop in this package specifically, not just async, but this package specifically, we're going to say bot, and we're going to set it equal to commands, right? Like we imported here, like we imported right here, this in commands. And we're going to say dot capital bot, BOT. And we're going to pass in an environment variable, or not environment variable, a variable for command prefix. So we're going to say command_prefix, and we're going to set that equal to an exclamation point. So what this is saying is basically for this bot that we're going to program to register that the user wants a command. Basically, this is the prefix that we're going to use for all of this. So, for example, if I were to use a pound symbol and I do pound help, it will actually do the command that we program it to do. But in this case, I want to use an exclamation point. So basically, this is what it will look for. And this is kind of common around Twitch and Discord to use the exclamation point for all these prefixes for all these commands that we're going to be programming. And the next thing that we're going to do, because this discord.ext actually has a built-in help function, what we need to do is remove it so we can override it. So basically, if I were to do the program out a help command, it wouldn't do anything because we didn't really override it, okay? Meaning that it's always going to default to what it's set to in the discord.ext package. So what I want to do is I want to say bot.remove, and then I want to say _command, and then I want to pass in the command I want to override or remove. So we're just going to say help. All right. So from there, what we can do is say bot.run. Bot.run. Okay. And then we're going to pass in this token that we've already specified. Okay. And we can save that. If I were to run this, it wouldn't give us any feedback. So in order to get some feedback to know that it loaded successfully, all we have to do is set up an event. All right. So in order to do that, we're going to create a decorator, and we're going to say this bot.event. Right. So this is the decorator that we're going to use. So whenever it encounters an event on the event loop for async, basically it's going to find this decorator and then execute the code underneath it. So in order to give a response once the bot has loaded, all we have to do is we have to say async, and then we're going to create a function. So define a function with def, and then we're going to say on_ready, and then that is it. So basically, whenever the bot is ready to go, like it's been activated, it created the event loop, created a task, and attached it all to a thread. Don't worry, we're going to get into a lot more nitty-gritty details and explain all of that later. But for now, let's just plow through this. So basically what I want to do is that when the bot's ready and loaded, I want to print out to our terminal, I don't know, big brain has arrived. All right. Okay, so if I go ahead and run this and I open up our terminal again, I can say not pip. Basically what I want to do is I want to say Python. And since we're in the big brain directory, this big brain directory, what I want to do is navigate pretty much to that. So what I can say is Discord, right, /, right? So now that we're in this folder, I want to say run bot.py. So I'm just going to say bot.py. All right, we run that. And hopefully it takes a little bit to start up, but look, Big Brain has arrived. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have that, we might be able to go here. No, not yet. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is invite the bot to our server. So in order to do that, what we need to do is go back to our development page. Then what we can do is navigate over to this OAuth 2 tab. Once we go here, what we need to do is define the scope for our application. In order to do that, all we have to say is, hey, we're creating a bot, and we also want to give it administrator privileges here. Okay, so once you do that, you can just copy here, go here to open up a new tab, paste it, press enter. And basically, it's going to ask you to select the server that you want to attach it to. And in this case, it's going to be this testing bot server that I created. So I'm going to hit continue, give it administrator privileges and authorize, say I'm not a robot. Click on some bridges apparently for this one. That should be it. Verify, not a robot. Now it's authorized. Awesome. So if we go over to our Discord, you can now see that Big Brain is online because we are currently running it. If I were to pause this, and in order to pause this or break the application, because normally in the application you would just hit Control-C, it happened there, but normally it doesn't work the first time. If it does not work the first time for you, what you do is you hit Control and then pause break, and it should be somewhere around the print screen button on your computer, and it stops it. Okay, so now that we've stopped it, basically what I want to do is go finish building out some of these commands we have going. So next thing I want to do is actually create that help command. So what you can do is say a new decorator, so bot.command, and it is a function, so we can do that. And then after that, what we want to do is define a new async function, so sync, but async, all right, def, and then what we want to call this is the help function. So we're overriding that help function. And what we want to do is pass in context, okay? So this context is basically going to help give us information on, let's say, who sent the message, what channel the message was sent in, you know, the user ID that sent the message, a whole bunch of, like a plethora of stuff that allows us to interact with it and get some sort of context in order to interact with it. Okay, so what I want to do is basically when they say the help command, all I want to do is I can say await, because I'm going to be calling a function, and I want to send them a message, right? So the CTX will actually give us the context, meaning the channel in which I want to send it in. And if I say send, and then I can just type some message. Sure, some message. Okay, so whenever I type in a help command in my Discord server, I should be able to use the exclamation help command, and it should return the that message I just put in there. It returns some message. Boom, some message. Look at that, guys. We're just now getting started. This is awesome. Okay, but however, that doesn't look that pretty, does it? No. So what I want to do is I want to go back to Atom, and I want to basically, I want to create what's called an embed. And if you're not familiar with Discord, embedding is pretty much how to style a message, right? Make it look pretty. So in order to create embed, all I have to say is an embed object, right? So I don't know, I'll just call it embed. Embed is equal to, and what I can say is I'm going to call the Discord package dot embed, capital E embed. And this is basically creating a new embed object. And what you can do is you can actually assign it a color. And they spell it weird, of course. It's some of the old nomenclature or naming schemes that they've used within this this package. But it's fine. It still stands for color. And we can say Discord dot color. So it still gets me every single time they use that. And then I can say like dot orange or dot blue or dot red. In this case, I'm just going to say orange. It looks kind of cool with the image that I'm going to add. And then it's a function, so all it does is return a hexadecimal value. If you look in some of the documentation, they will show you how to use hexadecimal or custom colors. For this instance, I'm just going to use this orange color because it's going to look really nice in the image I'm going to add to my Discord bot. Okay, so once I do that, I actually want to display the help commands that we're going to program. Basically, like what the help command does, what invite command does, what I don't know, what roll does. Basically, it rolls like a 6-sided die, and we can program all of that. And if you want some other further details, you can find some other tutorials that go through that. I won't be going in depth until later on, until we actually set up our Django web server in order to automate most of this stuff. All right. But for now, we're going to go creating an embed. So I'm going to say embed, and we're going to say dot set author underscore author. All right, and we're going to say that the name of the author is equal to, and we're just going to say help command. And basically, this is somewhat of the title. It just looks better than actually using the title attribute. So I use the author attribute, which is styled a little bit better. And then after that, I can say I want to add a field to this embed object. So I can say embed dot add field, add underscore field. And then with this add field function, basically I need both a name and a value to fulfill the parameters of this add field function, because that's the arguments it takes in, right? So I can say name is equal to, and basically what I want to say is this is the help function. In order to access the help function, you need to do exclamation help. And that's basically all we're going to do here. We're going to say, we can also say comma, and this is the text that it's going to display. So we're going to say value equal to, value value is equal to, and we can just basically say this is the help command. We can also say like this is how you see this screen. Let's do that. This is how you see this screen. Awesome. Okay. And then in order to actually send this embed object that we created, all we have to do is pass it in here. So the send function actually takes in a couple different parameters that aren't required, but we're going to send them the parameters of this embed function. So what we can say is embed, right, is equal to embed. And basically embed is a parameter that's allowed in the send function, and we're going to pass in this embed object that we created. A little confusing, but whatever. It's just some naming convention stuff. So what we can do is we can stop the server. We can rerun it again, so it'll run the new code after we saved our file. And if we go to our Discord, we can do the help command again. Once we do the help command, you can see that it is now pretty printed. It says help commands. This is the help. This is how you see the screen. So that's pretty much what we've programmed here. You can also do a couple other different things. I can run through another one, for example. Where were we at them? There we go. Basically, if I wanted to add a new field for another function or another help command that I'm going to program, basically I can say help, or I just paste that in there and say this is different. And then, oh, I don't care, I just spelled it. All right, display this. Display this. All right, display this. All right. So if I go back to my command prompt and I rerun, if I go back to my command prompt and I rerun it, and then I go here, I do the help command again. As you can see, it has done 2 of these. So I've got a help command here and a different command here, and it displays this. So it doesn't actually it doesn't actually create the command. So if I were to say exclamation point different, and we look at our command prompt, we see that it says we got an error, command not found, command different is not found. So basically this isn't programming the actual command. We did for the help command, right? We programmed the actual command to what we want it to return, but we did not program the different command. So we can do that in a later tutorial. For now, this is all I want to cover in this one. So I really appreciate you guys sticking around. Thanks for paying attention. In the next section, we're actually going to cover a couple different things. The rest of this that PowerPoint slide that I showed you, it's basically going to go over welcoming new users and also managing the roles for each user as they join. And that's going to be using an on, like we used an onReady function, we're going to use an onMemberJoin function. So like I said, that's it for this tutorial. I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you like the content, please hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, see you later, guys.